My name is Josh Fox, founder of the Brady Hunter Foundation. This is Hunter beside me. Thank you for allowing him to come be here too. And I'm speaking on behalf of Brady, who is no longer with us, and I'm speaking on behalf of Hunter, who's standing beside me. I've been an animal lover since the day I was born, and Brady, who was named after this guy, Tom Brady, that most of us seem to love. I went to the University of Michigan, same years as Tom, one of the most influential, best people that we tend to love in our society. And when Brady died after 16 years, I just wanted to start a foundation in his memory and his legacy. And what we've been able to accomplish the last couple of years here in Southern Florida and really around the world, we're also in 12 countries around the world, is pretty outstanding. So I live in Sunny Isles, right on the beach, and I'm lucky enough each day to be able to walk the ocean floor. And what I was blown away by the first day I stepped my first 2 feet on the sand was just how much plastic and how much garbage was on the beach. And each morning for at least a year, I would walk the beach, I would grab a garbage bag from my apartment, and I would just start picking up trash. It was just me and Hunter alone each morning, picking up garbage, picking up trash, one piece at a time. And I always said to myself, when would be the first person that would stop me and offer to walk the beach with me, to help me, to pick up trash with me, to be inspired by what I was doing? And it took a really long time. It was literally months before a single person said, "What are you doing? I'm inspired by what you're doing, and I would love to help." And the first person that stopped me, ironically, was not even an American citizen. It was a Canadian woman who was visiting some local hotel, and she said, "I'm inspired by what you do. I don't even live in your country." And she sat there for an hour and walked the beach and helped me pick up trash. I guess the point is that we all really need to do our part, right? I mean, there were mornings I was out there in the 90-degree heat saying to myself, am I really making an impact picking up all this trash? But it really is one piece of trash at a time, one person at a time. If we don't do this together, it's never going to work out, right? And you've probably seen us in the news lately. If you've seen any of the local television stations, we had an incident this past week where a dog was attacked by an alligator. And, we love animals. We love animals. We love animals at the Brady Hunter Foundation. And this animal was just literally laying on the side of the road for days after being attacked by an alligator. And we heard the story and we came in, and unfortunately, the dog's leg had to be amputated. The vet said it was one of the worst incidences that they had ever seen and had to remove the leg. But now the dog will live a good life, I'll bet 3 legs, but that's the stuff that we're doing, one animal at a time, one piece of trash at a time. And, I just want to inspire the group here today, how many of you, on a show of hands, have ever, walked the beach and picked up trash? That's a pretty good amount of hands. I think our biggest day, Paige, was what, maybe 2,700 pounds of trash that we picked up. With our great partnership with Clean Miami Beach, we have a great relationship with them. I mean, we've had days where we get hundreds of volunteers at one time and walk the shores. I was even with David. We did a kayak cleanup. We went to Raccoon Island on kayaks and left Raccoon Island, scared of raccoons for sure, but with hundreds and hundreds of pounds of trash in our kayaks as we came back to mainland. How many of you have ever, volunteered at an animal shelter? Definitely a good amount of hands, but a lot less. We did an event with the Humane Society of Northern Miami, and we pledged to pay for all the adoption fees and all the fees associated with adopting animals. And we got a couple of dozen really long-time animals adopted out of the Humane Society of Northern Miami. So, we really just want to make more of an impact. And my organization is here today to collaborate with anybody here who wants to collaborate and just make Southern Miami a better place to live. So I have the honor of bringing up a couple of special guests at this point. We have Chief Bay and Water Resource Manager Loren Parra. If you could come up. And of course, the person who seems to be spoken about the most today, former Chief Bay Irela Bague. Thank you.
Tough act to follow, Josh and Hunter.
I know, really. Thank you, Josh, honestly, for everything you've done, particularly for me, for the Biscayne Bay license plate that Loren and I had the pleasure of working together previously when she was with the Miami Foundation to kick that off and run with all those designs and run that contest. And we have this beautiful license plate that everyone in this room needs to, register for. Come on, guys. We need to hit our mark so we can get them on our cars.
Fun fact, if you look at the pictures from the day we did the license reveal, the winning design, that is my blue Prius that we stuck the thing on because we showed up and we hadn't decided what car we were going to put this on. And so we used mine. So pretty full circle, if you ask me.
Yep. So I guess, yeah, we'll take a seat and we'll just have a quick chat. Because when I had to make the very difficult decision of departing the county and going back to the private sector, everybody was wondering, obviously, who's going to take over, who's going to continue this path. And quite frankly, I couldn't have been more pleased when the mayor chose Loren because of her passion, number one, because she is connected politically, which is very important, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And she loves the Bay. So that's it. That's pretty much the recipe for me. That's always been why I've been involved in this since too long, it's just too many decades. But I just want to give, for those of you you already know the history. The Chief Bay Officer position was a recommendation in the Biscayne Bay Task Force report that, and the task force that I chaired. So warning, be careful what you recommend, because you might just end up doing it. But over the last 3 years, my job really has been pretty much the theme of this summit, which is connections. It's basically weaving governance, science, community, which is the fourth, business, where I'm in now, and bringing all those pieces together to really make a community and to really create this coalition that we're here today. It's just really emotional to us in the steering committee to see that we're sold out. And we have a coalition now, and we have people that'll show up and fight for the Bay. And really it's, it also, I think the role of making these connections and the role of governance, which is really where my expertise lies, is, making sure that every level of government is engaged, involved, and becomes responsible for this resource. From the smallest municipality in the Miami-Dade County to Tallahassee. Shout out to Senator Ileana Garcia, who was one of the first elected officials in Tallahassee who reached out to me and said, Irela, what can I do? And I said, I've got a bunch of resolutions and bills you can file. And the license plate is due to you. The Biscayne Bay Commission is due to you. The mangrove bill that will continue to file is due to you, and so many other things. The funding, just so many things that you've accomplished. So thank you. Tallahassee is very important. It's not just showing up at Miami-Dade County Commission meetings. It's also showing up in Tallahassee. It's also writing those people, and also our members in our congressional committee, congressional level. We need that federal funding to continue. To help all of our communities and definitely to help all of the projects that we have in place. But now I turn it over to my dear friend Loren, who will talk about the future and the goals that, we set ourselves up for that we now have to meet.
Thank you, Irela. And thank you to everyone for being here. This is pretty remarkable to stand up here and seriously see a full room. So thank you all for being here. I know that this has been years in the making. Just quickly, a little bit about myself. My name is Loren Parra. Again, I have the honor of serving as the mayor's second chief bay and water resources officer. I have personally known Irela for a long time. I cut my teeth on Everglades restoration and policy, worked for some extraordinary people like Senator Bill Nelson, spent some time at the Everglades Foundation, worked on the license plate thanks to Senator Garcia and former Representative Nick Duran at the Miami Foundation. And so just have a profound belief in the ability to work together, working across the aisle and finding these types of issues that can easily garner support. Because when we talk about Biscayne Bay, we're not just talking about Miami-Dade County. This is Florida's Biscayne Bay. This $64 billion a year is not just to Miami. We are supporting the entirety of our state, the entirety of our community when we restore, conserve, and protect our bay. And so it's really, really important that we're all here today. I want to share just a little bit about what Mayor Daniela Levine Cava's vision is for this second iteration of this role. As many of you know, Miami-Dade County is a massive enterprise. We have over 30,000 employees, and we have upwards of 7 different departments that touch different aspects of water resources. And so while we're working constantly with our cities and municipalities, with our CBOs and nonprofits that are doing this good work, how do we take a look internally and figure out ways to pass policy and meaningful code changes that make co-benefits easier? And so, for example, and I love talking about this project, our friends at DTPW, Transportation and Public Works, they recently worked with Marina, our stormwater experts, to apply for some funding from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. They needed to expand an evacuation route. And they could have very easily just done that. They could have just expanded evacuation road, but instead they worked with DERM to create a more resilient project that includes a median with tree canopy to create stormwater access and collection on the gradient to raise and elevate this road that will not only serve as a safety and emergency management option, but will also include fresh drains underneath. And so these are the types of examples that we want to be able to bring to the table so that our community, our state legislators, our congressional members, and every decision maker at every level knows that Miami-Dade County is not only talking the talk, but we're walking the walk as well.
Wow. See, I told you she was passionate. If you can get this excited over stormwater improvements, I mean, come on, guys. We've got the right person. I think we're being given the hook, which I know that you guys would like to hear more of us, but we're a little behind because of course, Miami traffic. So we're going to stick around. We're on the Hoover app too. Ask us questions, meetups, whatever, and we'll be around.
I want to end with one joke because I think we need to highlight our incredible partner, Nancy Jackson. Nancy, raise your hand. When I came into the role about 3 months ago, she looked at me and she said, geez, I traded in one chief bay officer and all I got was about 2 inches taller. But we're tiny but mighty.